Good afternoon, beautiful island from the Philippines. Good afternoon from the beautiful island of the Philippines. It's a beautiful Sabbath morning here. Well, Sabbath afternoon, actually. I'm so used to doing this in the morning, but this time, technical difficulties, and I'm doing it in the afternoon. So, right now, it's July and it's Sabbath for us already. So, anyway, we're grateful. Want to welcome you back to the channel. So this week, let's see, what would I use to describe this week? Chaotic, confusing, setbacks, challenges, but in the end, I saw where all things work together for good this week. Again, if you like these videos, you can subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up, leave a comment below. And if these stories are a blessing to you, please don't keep it to yourself, especially in the lockdown right now. Share it with family and friends and those that you think can benefit from it. If you're a social media person, you can follow me on Instagram, Missionary Pilot 172. You can like my Facebook page, By His Stripes Ministries. You can also like our Facebook ministry page, PAMAS, which is Philippines Adventist Medical Aviation Services. That's a Facebook group. So without further ado, it's episode 8. Can you imagine, guys? How many of you? Okay, leave a comment below if you have been following since episode 1. This is now episode 8. I do it once a week, which means that this is now 2 months of giving these reports. So I'm excited and fired up to tell you guys all the blessings and challenges this week. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So basically, Sabbath ended. I sometimes I like to start the week on Sabbath. The Sabbath gives the blessing, and then you just go straight into the new week. We had visitors from the city that came to our little church, and a part of visiting the church is they want to see the airplane, they want to see the hangar, they want to see the property basically. And these brethren are from the city, so when they come there, they are in no hurry to leave. They enjoy nature. And so, we put them out there and we position the chair and we give them a taste of what the sunset looks like, as we had our sunset at the end of another Sabbath. And they tired with us. We had a light supper, and it was just an amazing experience to share our facility with individuals that visit from church. Monday came, well, Sunday actually, I had to transport a patient going home. Basically, this is the deputy chief of police on the left, and he's basically stationed in that little area. That's Pastor Milky in the background. The lady in the middle is where the story is right here. Basically, I remember when I went to Pastor's house for lunch, he told me that the owner of this home has decided to allow him to live there. And he's been there now for months and months and months. She's not asking for rent. And so I was just thinking, wow, it's such a blessing that this lady would be willing to donate her home to house the pastor and his family. So I transported her. She's going to be over there visiting for a while. When it's time for her to get back, I'm going to be transporting her. And the lady on the right, that is her companion. There were 4 police officers, PMP officers, that needed to get out for, I think it's a division meeting of some sort that they needed to do. And so they requested, since we're coming in, could they ride back with me? So I picked them up. It was 4, but due to the weight, I cannot bring 4 of them. So I ended up just carrying 3. So maybe later on when I have a bigger airplane, I can transport 4 of these guys, 5, 6, etc. But this airplane can only take 3 of these officers. They were very grateful for our help. Then I had patients going back home, and I was able to transport them. The man here on the right, he's a frontliner, one of the member of the LHU. My first, another day came, I transported this patient. Basically, this is the watcher. The patient is inside the airplane. I don't know if it's as his mom or aunt, but she's a stroke patient. She had a stroke. She's on dextrose, and I was called in to evacuate her so that she can get medical attention. You know, week after week, I share about a watcher, and maybe you don't know what a watcher is. So what a watcher is basically a family member usually, or a close friend that will accompany the patient to the hospital. I have filled that capacity as a watcher on multiple times. It's where you're there for moral support. If the family has enough money, you can have like a little bed or sofa inside the patient's room to be with the patient during their time in the hospital. They will bring you your food as well. When it's time to get medicine and you need to go to the pharmacy and pay for the medicine, it's the watcher's responsibility to go and get those. So here in the Philippines, when you go to the hospital, you're not so much alone, just under the care of doctors and nurses, and just have people visit time to time. You have sometimes up to one, two, three, depending on the size of the hospital room. You can have multiple family members or close friends being with you by your side 24/7 during your time in the hospital. So those who are in North America wondering, what is this watcher? It's someone that basically watches over the patient for, you know, during their time in the hospital. So I transported them, and then the big news of this week. This was one of the climax of this week. This is my patient here, the one that did the brain surgery with her family. I had transported them maybe about a month ago, and she messaged me. She would like to go home, and as our custom is, when they recover, it's not our responsibility anymore to take them back home. But due to the COVID lockdown, where many places our airplane is the only means of transportation, we will see what fuel and resources we have and time available to transport them back home if we can. So she had messaged, and I didn't have the luxury of extra fuel to transport her. So I took it upon myself, which is not the norm, to fundraise and inquire from my friends who I could get some financial help from to buy the fuel to transport her. She did a video. She was very grateful. And just a side note here, I have a video of the cockpit landing. The mom usually she sits beside me. It's the lady here on the right, left, with that pillow, neck pillow, in her hand. I have a video on my channel, so it's the last video I uploaded. Go over to YouTube, look up "Flying by Faith," and you will see a video there of the landing. This lady slept the entire 1.5 hour flight. She woke up when I shut down the engine. And trust me, the landing, you know, I've been telling you guys about crosswind landing. It was a crosswind landing, very bumpy, gusty, the winds. It was like landing in a washing machine where the plane is being tumbled dry, okay? And she slept the entire time. If you want to see that video, go over to my YouTube channel. The video is there. Flying by Faith. That's the name of my channel. So, anyways, I transported them. She made a video to say how grateful she was, and her sister also mentioned a thank you as well. I have that video. I have not uploaded it yet because I want to make it into a nice video where I attach photos and a little more video and content and so on. So I'm fine tuning it. And when that's available, if you're subscribed to my channel and you hit the bell, soon as I upload that, you will be able to see it. So I can say now, mission accomplished. Many of you have been praying with me for her. Her surgery was successful. The checkup was successful. And I have no doubt that this lady's heart was melted by the love that we share with her. And by God's grace, there's a pastor there, Adventist pastor on her island. I know she's gonna be well. She's even my friend already on Facebook, and she kept messaging me, "Thank you so much, Cap. Thank you to the Palmer's family as well." And I keep telling her, "Mom, it's not me, it's not us. It's God telling you how much He loves you, how much He cares for you and your family." So mission accomplished. She is home in quarantine, soon to join her family. Right after I dropped her off, there was a request for a baby to be transported. 14 days old, born to a very young girl. She looks like late teens, early 20s. And the baby is having a lot of complication. This is the nurse that was along the flight. That's the grandmother in the back holding the baby. The baby's on oxygen. This nurse kept checking the vital signs every 15, 20 minutes. He was checking the vital signs. And I remember at one point he looked at me, he asked me, "Cap, how many more minutes?" And I look at his little journal for the vital signs, and I think somehow the baby's vital signs dropped beyond what they're supposed to be. When we got to the airport, the ambulance was ready on standby, came in, siren going. They just moved like bullets. And I remember at one point he was saying that the oxygen is almost out. So we were able to do that mission. Next day came, and I transported this lady and her baby and her companion home. That's Pastor Milky in the green. It's always a blessing to transport these mothers with babies, because you're helping not just one generation, but you're helping a new generation coming on the scene. So that's a blessing. I have this photo blurred out for a reason. Every now and then, this is my second time doing this. It's a heart-rending experience. Basically, this 6-year-old girl was raped on her island. Same place where I had, for those who've been following me now for a while, I think it's episode 5 or 6 or 4. There was a 2-year-old that was raped. Now it's a 6-year-old that was raped, and it's the same area that this one is coming from. Good news is the 2-year-old that was raped, I took them out. They got the diagnosis from the OB-GYN to confirm that she was molested. And they were able to take that information back home and file a case against the individual, and the individual is now in jail. So we're hoping now that this girl will be able to get her diagnosis as well, and more than likely I'll take her back home with her relative. She will file a case by faith, and the perpetrator will be imprisoned for abusing this child. So our ministry is one that it goes far and beyond. In this area, they don't have an OB-GYN and the facility to do this kind of examination, and that's why we had to transport them. So continue to keep them in prayers. This is a success story here. She's from episode 7. So I transported her last week. I think the guy on her right is her dad. On the right is her dad. And I remember in episode 7, I was telling you that you can see the pain on her face, and you can tell she is sick. So when she showed up this time, face looks more smiley. She looks happier, which meant she got the health care she needed. And I took her back home with her relative. And I had 2 individuals tag along with me for the flight. Basically, the last mission for the week was this 2 ladies on the left here. They are having some complications and challenges. And the lady on the right in the gray, that's a midwife. She's the healthcare individual that basically traveled with them on the flight and will be with them in the hospital. I won't get into the details of their health and what happened, but it's always a blessing for us to come to the rescue in transporting these people to give them another fighting chance at life. So we look forward to when they're finished and it's time for them to go home. As is customary, Pastor Melky continues to give me the best tips In episode 7, I didn't share the photo. Episode 7, I had about a maybe at least a 50 or 60 kilo um, jackfruit, right? No, but no, that's exaggerated. My bad. Pounds. I'm thinking in pounds and I say kilo. 50 or 60 kilo pounds jackfruit. This time, this one was 50 pounds. It's two of them. And when I get it on Friday, what I do with it is we take it to church and it's a part of the potluck meal. So it helps to feed the church on Sabbath. So we got this one from him, very grateful. And I often tell people, if when I fly, my paycheck that I get is jackfruit, I'm a happy guy because I really like jackfruit. It's a very good fruit and I enjoy it. Yesterday I went out to the market to get some fruits and vegetables for the weekend. And when I was coming home, I saw the rainbow. So I hopped out of my patrol and I took some pictures and videos. And then I thought to myself, I know this rainbow is hanging over the airbase. I just know it. So I dashed home and it was hanging over the thing. My camera could not capture it, but it's actually a double rainbow hanging over the airbase. So I pulled out the airplane and I just started taking pictures. My wife was helping me to take pictures. And the thing is, whenever I see the rainbow, I am reminded of God's covenant. Covenant with me. It's a 7-year journey in helping me to become a missionary pilot. Many of you might know my story. Some of you don't know. It's on my YouTube channel. I grew up without I never imagined I would be flying an airplane. Never imagined that. I never finished anything in university. I don't have a degree. I don't have rich family and relatives, etc. But when I became a Seventh day Adventist Christian in 2004, that is when my life became meaningful. And when I look at the different countries I'm able to travel to, all I can all I can say is this is happening because I'm a Seventh day Adventist Christian. If you take me out of the Seventh day Adventist church, my life has no value to it anymore. And so being a Seventh day Adventist for me, it's not just going to church, it's the church that God has used to give my life purpose and a meaning. And when I see I'm at this point now of flying an airplane, why am I flying an airplane? It's not because I'm wealthy or from a wealthy family. It's because I became a Seventh day Adventist and God basically gave me the humble opportunity to be a co-laborer with him as a missionary pilot. So when I see the rainbow, I am reminded of that covenant that God and I made together in allowing me. And the Adventist motto or the AY pledge actually says, loving the Lord Jesus, I promise to take an active part in the work of the Adventist Youth Society, doing all I can: missionary pilot, medical missionary, Bible worker, canvasser, you name it. I've done it. Volunteer church pastor. It's just, I'm just here doing all that I can to help others and to finish the work of the gospel in all the world. So a lot happens when I see a rainbow. Some very good news. I told you from maybe week 3 or week episode 1, 2, or 3, I have been fundraising for $1,700 to get the Magneto. Well, guess what? I have great news. God has provided enough donations to purchase the Magneto. So, and not just purchase it, but coincidentally, my mother-in-law, who is in the States, is scheduled to come back in, I think, 2 or 3 days from now. And I was like, Lord, please provide the money so that I can have this sent with her so I don't have to worry about shipping and handling. And he did. He came through on time. She has received it in the mail. It's already in her suitcase, packed and ready to be delivered. And good news, I'm going to be picking up my mother-in-law from the airport, not with the airplane, but with my patrol. I'm going to drive. It's about a 10-hour drive to get to the airport to pick her up, take her to her home, and I'll be joyfully collecting the items for the airplane. So we have gotten that. This was the one that we purchased, the 6-cylinder Lycoming magneto replacement. It's low maintenance. It's more electronically driven. So it's, you know, it doesn't need constant rebuilding. It's going to help the timing on my engine. And the best thing is this will help me to burn a little less fuel. Fuel is precious commodity in this ministry. So anything that's going to help me to burn less fuel, I'm going to take it. So God has provided a way for us to burn less fuel. Again, we keep saying, if you like what we do, if you appreciate what we do, many of you have given in the past, many of you have not yet given, we encourage you to partner with us to reach those that go through life without the means to get much needed medical attention. Go over to my website, By His Stripes Ministries 1844.com. Click on that give page and you will see a breakdown. This photo will break down for you all the needs. So I need to update the magnetos. We already got that. So I need to remove that because that's a need that's met. You can see our personal needs or aircraft needs, and wherever the Lord impresses you to give, we encourage you to do so. There's a gap. It's two things that I have been fundraising for: the magneto and a graphic engine monitor. Right after the magneto was in, you know, I was fundraising for the magneto replacement. Another thing broke on the airplane. It's another $1,700. And you know, when you deal with the finances of mission aviation, you need to have a lot of faith and know that God will provide, because this thing costs a lot of money. But you know what? As a missionary pilot, I don't get depressed over the finances. I know, you know, this sign here, it's not here just as a prop in the video. This is our slogan. This is my motto: do the work and allow God to provide the means. The graphic engine monitor is missing because we are yet to replace it. But good news, beloved. Someone was willing to purchase it on their credit card, and the person contacted me and said, "Hey, I'll buy that on my credit card, but I need my reimbursement." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm rejoicing with one hand, and the other hand is, "Lord, please help me. Help me as I fundraise for the 1,725 to be able to pay back this person for their willingness to put this thing on their credit card." So my mother-in-law has both items on the way. I'm not paid for shipping, which is a huge blessing. So we encourage you to partner with us. We have a GoFundMe link. If you want to check that out, this is the title, this is the name. I will put the link in the description of this video. You can just click on the description part and go over to GoFundMe and make a donation. Not only that, encourage family members and friends. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe all you can offer is a word of prayer. Prayerfully share the link. Prayerfully talk to individuals. Say, "Hey, there's a missionary pilot in the Philippines doing an amazing job. I've been watching his videos. I see the people he's helping." And okay, I gotta check this. Oh my word. That's a heavy wind. Okay, it's fine. Okay, guys, the wind just picked up here, and the wind just closed the hangar for us. It was partially open, and the wind just closed it. So that's the sound you just hear. So to bring this to a close, basically, go over to GoFundMe. This is the link. Prayerfully help us share the link. We haven't gotten any donations as yet, but we know God is working. And I have a huge story that I want to share. Before I show you that, let me go back. So I'm a part of this prayer network where I've been on it for about 3 years now. They schedule me every Wednesday. And so, no, every second Wednesday, I am the assigned speaker. So we intercede at 7 o'clock Western time, 7 in the morning, 7 in the evening, that we are praying. And I gave them an update on ministry. Individuals from that prayer line pledge that they will give something at some point ASAP. They will give something. So we're prayerfully waiting for that. But I invited them to have a season of prayer, and two individuals offered prayer while the rest was praying privately. Two audibly pray on the line. And the prayer was, Lord, touch hearts to give to this work so that the work can keep going. I remember we shut down the base twice for 1 week each to do some work on the runway. The other one was to get supplies in a distant city for the work to continue. And the patient's request was piling up. Lives were hanging in the balance until we could resume flying. So we know what happens when this airbase gets shut down. Okay, we know the effects of it. Here is one answer to prayer, right? Um, this is a friend of mine that I've been friends with them for a couple of years, actually. I met them way back when I was in Wildwood studying to become a medical missionary. The wife is Jamaican, the husband is African. They have beautiful kids, and we became friends. We have not spoken in years. I commented on one of her posts on Facebook. She started messaging me, and that's why I say, hey, miss you guys. She's like, miss you too. And then she said, what's the link to your ministry? I want to make a donation. So I messaged her. I said, donation received. Thank you very much. Very timely. I told her, very timely. Trust me, your donation is very timely. And this was what she said. You're welcome. God laid it on my heart. I was going to send $50. He told me to send 100 and told me he would give it back to me. I heard it as plain as day. By the next day, he replaced what I had sent. Blessings. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, thank you, Lord. This blessing is more than $100. It boosted my faith that when we pray and ask God to touch hearts, look at this thing. She was going to give 50 because $50 is within her comfort zone. She said God told her plainly, give 100. She gave 100. He promised she would promise her he would replace it. The next day, she confirms that it was replaced. She got back the donation that she gave. And that was a huge blessing when you think about it. Beloved friends, this is God's work. It's God's airplane. It's not you and I. It's not our work. This solely belongs to God. And you know, when I think about this ministry, just this week, I was able to help 6 patients this week. I transported 3 returning patients, 11 watchers, 15 family members who were stranded trying to get back home. They were able to get home. 50 pounds of cargo made it safely to their destination. 126.5 gallons of fuel was burned, and I spent 13 hours flying. Beloved friends, without your prayers, without your encouragement, without your support, without you sharing about this ministry and asking others to partner with you to help, we would not exist. We could not survive. So we know that God is blessing. We see the lives being touched. And when I put these reports together, it's not just to get more help and more support. It's to strengthen your faith and let you know that while you're praying, while you're sharing the link, while you're supporting, God is touching and transforming lives. I got a report of the patient from episode 7 that actually wanted to go home and die. I got news this week that he passed on. But you know what? We were able to give the family members the best gift. I didn't bring the body home. I brought him home alive. So at least he had a couple of days to spend with his family members and friends. Beloved friends, without you. So I cannot say thank you enough. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. We have a lot more work to do, but we know it's God's work, and all we have to do is to do the work and watch God provide the means. Again, thank you for watching. On behalf of Philippines Adventist Medical Aviation Supplies, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And we look forward to sharing episode 9 with you. God bless, and we'll talk soon.